Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of the afternoon swing trading floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newton, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding you to love life, and trade it. What's going on? Folks from around the world, legends and legendettes, my main man Alan in the building. One Trader's username is all about fun. I like that. Bill, what's up, sir? Anthony, hope you crushed it today. My boy Adam, how are you, man? Hope you wrecked it out. Bill says afternoon. My buddy Camilo, happy about Tesla today. We'll talk some about that maybe. Chuck, what's going on? Brad, Bob, Santosh, Sophia, Tim. Alan says he's all about crushing. That's right. My buddy James in the building. Let me get my screen sharing turned on so you guys can see that. Here we go. So we got screen sharing going on. Pulling this up here. How's Vanna, by the way, James? Hope she's doing good. Tell her I said hey. Hope everyone had a great day. What a fun Energy Wednesday it was out there. A lot of things to talk about. Feeling good about some stuff. We'll move this over here. Put this over here. Oh, okay, gotcha. That's Dan. Dan says I'm at my computer at work using my old company. Okay, gotcha. My boy Dan Walsh. I know all about fun. I know about that. Pure legendary stuff right there, my friend. Legendary stuff. All right, folks. Well, here's the good news. SPY had a decent bullish day today, and this is a pretty decent day. What I can say for sure, here was the 5-minute actually, and I will admit, I'll be the first one to let you all know, I did not take any day trades today. This morning, when the market opened, it obviously was down like 1.5%, something like that. It was down pretty gnarly today at open. So I was watching it this morning, and I saw this 5-minute candle come in, and I was ready to buy some puts, a lot of them, if it broke below the low of that day, that candle. But it did not. It did not happen. And for some reason, my brain just did not think about that inverted head and shoulders pattern, resistance, break above resistance, retest. I mean, there's 4 or 5 different opportunities I could have gotten in bullish. I just didn't think about it. But also when I'm day trading, it's really not part of my plan. It's not my specialty is bullish fades, meaning a stop gaps down and you trade it higher. So it's just not my specialty, which is totally fine. No big deal. I didn't take a day trade, but I didn't lose either. Now, we did exit one of our swing trades. We'll talk about that. But I love the trade. I love the movement. If I had to guess what we do from here, again, I still think per the blue line that I've deleted, we definitely can go lower. It's always possible in this market. Nothing will surprise me at this point, folks. Absolutely zero. We could get a bearish day the exact same size tomorrow, and I'd go, okay, whatever. We could also get another bullish day the exact same size tomorrow. All of those things are possible. But Mr. Squiggles thinks we will probably do more something like this and then like this over at least the next few days, shorter term. So I will try, if we do make some pullbacks tomorrow being Thursday, I'll be looking for some dip buying opportunities around the SPY. But, we'll just kind of figure it out from there. So I got the Iron Condor, which was a perfect strategy for this market. And that's all I got on the SPY. The Qs actually look pretty good. Again, hanging out. We haven't actually hit the 200 simple moving average. So this is a strong day. This bullish candle on the Qs is actually bigger than the bearish candle that we got on Monday, which is kind of crazy. So this is a morning star pattern on the Qs, and there will be a lot of bullish trades out there that people will be looking for. Just keep in mind, and just go ahead and write this down, ladies and gentlemen, for my swing traders who are planning on taking some swing trades. This could absolutely be the bottom. If it's not, just lose small, regroup, and try again later, right? Because if we're getting some pullbacks tomorrow, if we do gap up, that's kind of what I'm hoping for actually, is a gap up tomorrow and then a trade down. That would make loads of sense if we do that. And then you'll get an opportunity to buy that dip sometime, Thursday, late afternoon, Friday morning, maybe Monday, something like that. We do something like this, and then something like this. So I think there's a chance that certainly occurs. Good probability. But again, for my longer term traders, you're getting some good dip buying opportunities. There's a lot of good buy the dip, buy low, sell high, trade setting up. And again, it's all about time frame. What's your goal? What's your outlook? What's your standpoint? I still think there's a chance the markets could go lower, by no means, but you all know I'm not bearish. I don't think this is the top of the market. I don't think the market just crumbles from here. It's just a matter of time of when it does go higher is pretty much all I've been looking at. So if we go on a weekly, here's the weekly 50 EMA, and we got it where it's just, again, hanging out at that 50 exponential moving average. So that was pretty big deal. Here's the Dow Jones ETF, ticker symbol DIA, and the Dow Jones, if we're looking at the long term, this one did bounce pretty nicely off of almost and relatively the exact same low we made back in February. And not only that price, but also the 200 simple moving average. So it makes sense that we are bouncing down here, even if it's for 2 days. Even if you got in bullish 2 or 3 days ago, and then you sold today near the close of the market, that's fine. I know the market's quick. I mentioned this is going to be a fast market, fast in and out, get in, get out, make your money, move on, and find something else. If you're doing shorter term time frames, right? Longer term time frames, you're just holding, you're trying to buy as low as you can, and or you're doing a lot of option sales and things of that nature. So we have tons of things to look at, tons of gaps. Here's the IWM. IWM was just an absolute crusher, also off the 200 simple. Again, looking a little bit more bullish. And today is, I believe it's Energy Wednesday. Look at this range on the XLE. Wowzers. How cool is that? What a fun channel on the hourly chart, of which I have not played at all. If you're a futures trader and you trade energies, you've probably had an absolute blast, is my guess. But this is the hourly chart, and what I like about this is it made just a new low, and some bears probably hopped on. The more I'm looking at this hourly chart, the more it appears to have kind of an inverted head and shoulders pattern, something like that on the XLE. So again, I wouldn't specifically be bearish on it. I'm not really bearish on most things unless it's a day trade or just a really, really fast swing trade. I'm game to take some bearish trades, but for now, I really like how it's kind of just accumulating down here and kind of chopping around, doing its thing, hanging out. There's still no premium unless you do a put sale. There's no premium for any kind of bull put spreads on the XLE. This is the weekly chart, and you're below the 100. But here's what's cool. The monthly chart is at 58.94. So you could have some bearish premium, put sale premium down here. But other than that, I don't really have much on the XLE. Any questions, concerns, thoughts, or oppositional viewpoints before I really dive in to some of these trades that we will be looking at today? All right. Before we dive into these, let's go pull up DKS, Dick's Sporting Goods. So DKS, I did post in Slack earlier. Jason says, so credit spreads on the indices. Bull put spreads, yeah. On a pullback, absolutely. This morning would have worked very much a lot better because you want to do spreads when the implied volatility is higher. But longer term bull put spreads, yes, I think that would be the way to approach it. So Dick's Sporting Goods, we were profitable on it, and we did exit for a small profit. If you want to continue holding, you're more than welcome to. But that was my plan. So pretty good bullish candle. It could still break out. This one's all about your time frame. But with the craziness of the market, we could have a 3% down day tomorrow. It's plausible. Here's the high. Here's some higher lows. I feel good not getting stopped out on Dick's Sporting Goods. Really happy that I didn't move my stop early and get stopped out. That would have been a real bad day and a bad 3 months because I would have broken my plan had I done that. But I like that high wave candle. I like the trend to 100, did cross the 200. Here's the weekly. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're here at the 50. Again, it could easily pull back. A lot of stocks probably will pull back some tomorrow and or Friday, and there will be a lot of dip buying opportunities once again. It just, you can't let a day or a week really – you can't let a day or a week – I'm trying to think of the word change your path or change your direction or change your focus, because if you have a bad day or a bad week in the markets, you just got to shake it off. As Taylor Swift would say, move on to something else, figure it out, do some research, do some measurements, do some planning, take a day off, and then just approach it again, attack it again. Because at some point, if you got the method right, if you got the strategy right, it will work. It just might not be the right time or the right cycle in that particular move, in that particular stock, in that particular market. So just don't beat yourself up about it, right? Take your gains, don't lose big, and survive and thrive when the market is setting up for what you like. Target, I had all kinds of different success stories on Target today. So Target had a just glorious morning star reversal pattern. Very, very pretty. And Angela had a really big day today. A few traders snagged Target. I was chatting with my buddy Alan yesterday about this one. I just love the morning star. So this thing was bouncing off the 100 on the daily as well as the 200 on the weekly. So some traders did shares. Some traders did different options. If you did the exact one that I did, you did not get filled at 180, unfortunately, or at least I didn't. It did go down to 195 before breaking out. But if you trade it with shares or just trade it with something different, then this was a really good setup. So here's the 5-minute chart. And 5-minute chart, right? Even if you were just day trading this, you can see, at open, the market just shot off like a slingshot. Trade up, pulled right back down to that price, and then had a really good move. So Target, you at least got the direction right. You got the analysis right. Just depends on how you played it. Depends on what you did with it and how you approached it. But I love that morning star. It could still pull back tomorrow. So if you want to leave the trade open until Friday, that's totally fine. I will, just in case. But that is a pretty nice candle on Target. All right, I'll put Tesla on here. I'm just going to be going through a lot of these pretty quickly. So Tesla trapping everybody except for us, I feel like. And that's an incredible thing. So I told you guys to hold. Tesla, woo, man. This was the day that everyone went, well, I shouldn't say everyone. A lot of people went bearish. We read the hedge fund article. And as soon as I heard about that hedge fund article coming out, saying that Tesla was going to go bankrupt in 4 months, I just really questioned it. I was like, guys, I don't think this is legit. Tesla's already traded down like 100 points. It's at the 200. There's bear sentiment everywhere. Everyone's saying that, it's going to go bankrupt. Tesla doesn't make any money. Elon Musk is an idiot, blah, 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 blah. And we're at the strongest support. I'm like, I don't know. That's why I mentioned we would need to close below 247.07. Simple as that. And the fact that we did not close below that bullish candle that very next day, if you go back to today's Wednesday, right? So if you go back to Monday's recording, we looked at Tesla in detail. I mentioned that I think a lot of people were trapped, and we likely are going to continue higher, and Tesla was going to be popping very soon, and tons of bears would be trapped. And that's exactly what happened. The very next day, it had a really good gap up. This morning, it had a good gap down, pretty much right back to the support that it bounced from yesterday, and just wrecked people all day long. Jason says the whole bankrupt thing was an April Fool's tweet from Musk. Yes, but there was a hedge fund that came out, a big hedge fund that came out that said that Tesla as a company would be bankrupt in 4 months. That was this day. whatever this day is, this big bearish day. I'll see if I can find it. It was in here earlier. We were looking at it in the morning room, and again, I was just like, this is dumb. Bankrupt in 4 months. I was like, I'll take that that bet all day. I could Google it. Let me just Google it. That would be funny if that was an April Fool's joke. I don't think it was, though. Hedge fund says Tesla going bankrupt in 4 months. Again, I was just I was on the camp that was not going to take place. Here it goes. May 27th, March 27th. So this was at least one of the articles, if in case you guys want to read it. But it just came out at a really poor time. It came out pretty much right when Tesla was just running into some amazing support. So yeah, it came out on that big bearish day, had the gap down into support. So the interesting thing is with the bull put spreads and put sales, because there's a lot of you in them, this is why I said don't do put sales unless you're cool owning stock, because if you're cool owning stock, you probably didn't really care that much about what Tesla was doing. I do have a bull put spread on it, and I'm really keeping my fingers crossed if I can hold this thing even longer into expiration and let it expire worthless. I do think Tesla does pull back a little bit and then bounce up into 302. I think we have an easy 20 points to go on Tesla. If it pulls back to 273, consider yourself lucky. I think that will be the buying spot for it. But I'm going to continue to hold my bull put spread. It is out of the money at this particular point in time. So I'm not profitable on it by any means right now. But as long as it expires out of the money, that's all that matters. Great support on Tesla. Good job for anyone who sold puts down here and just kind of held through it. We'll see what she does. I love the candle. I love the volume. I feel like a lot of shorts are trapped. And depending on your time frame, your puts out, all that kind of good stuff, I still think Tesla can easily get up to 300, maybe even by the end of April. So buy a dip, shorts are trapped, and I think Tesla will slowly keep climbing a little bit higher. Make sure I don't miss anyone on the gaps. All right, perfect. Wonderful. So I'll take that away. Okay, so let's go start running through the list. Here's First Solar, FSLR, Bill's covered call, expired worthless. So another one bites the dust for our boy Bill. Bill, what's your newest one that you got for us here on First Solar? I did plan on doing a bear call spread for April. I thought about it. I got so many spreads right now that I'm just going to leave it alone and let it do its thing. So First Solar, I mean, look at that bullish candle, 2 bullish candles back to back. That looks really pretty. What's tomorrow? Thursday? So Latoya is going to be in the trading room tomorrow morning. I'm going to write down Thursday morning First Solar. I'm going to watch that because it looks to me like there's some good bullish candles coming in off the 100, kind of similar to this. And I'll just be waiting or watching for a good pop higher intraday, right? Support, resistance. Just waiting for and keeping an eye out for a good little pop. All right, so Bill's got an April week 2 73 covered call. Right on, brother. 73 413 Bill B. Cool deal. We'll see what happens. Next on the list is LNG, and here's your daily chart. We are still getting propped up pretty nicely by the 100 simple on the daily chart, but that's not all, folks. Here's the weekly, and you also have the 200 simple on a weekly. So you have 2 major moving averages kind of propping up LNG here. So there are a few of you who like playing LNG. It's been a little bit more bullish than neutral overall, but I'd like to see the trend slowly continue higher. Down in this area or this sector or this region, I'd like to think it'd be more bullish than bearish. And that's pretty much all I got. Marius says, why is Facebook bouncing after hours? I do not know. Is Facebook on the list? It is not. I'll try to get to it, but I don't think I will have time today. George says SEGG seems to be one of the few not linked to the overall market. I'll put that one in the list. And again, if I can't get to those two, I'll just put it on the list for tomorrow. Mila says Zuckerberg is giving an interview. There you go. There you go. Today was a very nice day on Facebook, though. Good bounce. BP is the one that I got my attention on. And I think BP is just primed and ready to pop out of here. Look at that consolidation for February, March, and April. Very pretty. Dividends came out late February. I don't have any shares short term of BP. I do got that put sale down at 36. My buddy Jesse James Lovan is in a handful of shares on BP. And it looks like just a nice little accumulation. BP for me, not really a shorter term. I don't really play this one as a swing trade. Longer term, though, love the company, love the dividends. It's volatile. I like the movement, like the charts. It's disciplined, has a good premium for covered calls. I'm just a big fan. Could pull back a little bit, maybe to 40, 60 and some change. But if you're, have a smaller account or you're looking at having some type of energy exposure, BP is always my favorite energy. And it looks to me like it's ready to slowly grind a little higher. Here's the weekly, and you're kind of breaking above the weekly moving averages. So, yeah, looks nice. I'd say 44, 49 is a decent target for anyone who has some shares of BP, and that's what I got. Let's go look at this dog. For the dogs, CHK getting wrecked. Just can't hold its head above water. Chesapeake Energy. I tried this one 2 or 3 times and, well, actually 5 or 6 times and just never got anything with it. So CHK, wow. Here you go. We'll probably come back to this and see if we actually get a place to get a time to short this thing. Dead as a doornail. Or is it doorknob? I'm not really sure. Chesapeake. We're going to come back to this one later because we take out that low, it's over. Chesapeake's just going to slowly just roll down. 276 by 313. Again, I've played this one a few times, and I would say cumulatively over the last year and a half, however long we've been playing CHK, put sales, trying to buy some off of 363, trying to buy some off of 5. Protective puts, playing so on and so forth. I think I'm probably down about 2 Rs on it cumulatively, which isn't bad. In this type of trend, just getting wrecked. So, there's tons of bullish volume coming in. You got a decent gap on earnings. Yeah, we take out 276. I'll put it this way. I would not be buying anything bullish on it on CHK. That's at least my thought. Okay. Energy Transfer Partners, ETP, had a little bit of a bullish movement, still pretty boring. Welcome to Yawnsville. Population Energy Transfer Partners, not doing that much, out of support, hanging out. It's a long-term buy and holds. It doesn't do anything exciting, hasn't been doing anything exciting, probably won't do anything exciting. I don't have any short-term trade for it, but that's pretty much it. I will say, based on this candle, the high of these candles, are they the same? They are the exact same. Yep. So if ETP does in fact break above 1659, if you were looking at playing a shorter term trade and or you were looking at finding a place where it would make sense to snag a little bit of bullishness, that would also be that location, of which I would do so. Henceforth, I say unto thee, here is CRZO, chorizo oil. And here's the weekly chart. Weekly chart on chorizo, oil and gas. It looks like a flag pattern to me. Bearish flag pattern. Here's the daily charts, and let's see. Again, energies, It depends on how you're playing them and what energies you're playing. Royal Dutch Shell, British Petroleum, Chevron, some of the refineries, you know, the actual gas stations have been doing pretty well, but some of the plays like these or pipelines have been suffering a little bit. Just can't catch a break. So this is the production side, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, CRZO, I don't really see much on it. If it takes out the low, really of today and or yesterday, it just looks like it's just going to slowly roll over. I'm not going to personally short it, but I will say based on the weekly, if I come back to CRZO, you know, let me do that on Monday. Give me 1 second. Bear flag breakdown. If it can hold up here for 2 more days and ends up breaking below here, that could be a bear flag. There's no reason not to have at least one bearish trade out there just in case. I'm gonna look at that on Monday. MONDY, CRZO. Okay, cool. Next on the list, CRC, California Resources. This is the weekly chart on California Resources, and you'll notice we did break above the 100 on the weekly chart. Still in accumulation phase. You have a pretty nice resistance here at 2278. Let's go to a monthly time frame. Yeah, it's just an accumulation phase. I mean, so obviously it hasn't been around that long. Pretty newer company. Here's the daily charts. And the daily, we are very sideways. Sideways is an armadillo eating a pancake in Texas. And I would imagine, I mean, if it broke above 18, I'd be a little bit more bullish on it. But obviously you would prefer to get it a little bit cheaper. Trade all the way down to 14 would be sensational. I think realistically on this one, you'd have the ability to buy it where it is now. Same price, just later down the road. So something like this. Boom, boom, boom. If it continues higher. Other than that, I don't have any play on CRC presently. Okay, cool. Next on the list is OLED. You want to look at this one from my buddy Scott McKay. Happy to see it bouncing a little bit for him. So a little bit of a bullish engulfing pattern on Universal Display. Here's the weekly chart, and it did make it down to that 100. So that is the support level, or at least a support level. And we bounced down here last time with two of the smallest candles you'll ever see on a weekly chart. Look at these. You can barely even see them on the chart. Nice risk reward right there. So pull into the 100 on the weekly. Here's the daily chart. Nice bullish engulfing candle on Universal Display Corporation. So simple is as simple does. If it's going to break higher, this is pretty much that area of which it would do so. And of course, as bullish engulfing candles work, you would really need / at least want it to take out or continue above the high of today. But this one was a really solid gap that had some great potential. This was the gap action right here. Bearish gap and go. Played that on a day trade. Had a little bit of a retest and just a gorgeous rollover. A great opportunity for, if you were in some shares, to buy some puts, or at least a put to protect yourself. Yeah, there's the trade down. Here we are. And, you know, buy low, sell high. All right, cool. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA gap down today, trapping a few bulls, only to see it close above the 100 simple moving average. As most stocks, it probably pulls back a little bit tomorrow. And my thought on NVIDIA is it's going to actually be pretty simple. If we close below the low of today on NVIDIA, because NVIDIA did have some bearish divergence. So I'm just going to write in here, if NVIDIA closes below this price, weakness will continue to ensue. Sideways distribution at best. So obviously that doesn't have to happen, but really today's candle, I feel like probably trapped some bulls who were trying to buy off the 100. They had their stops below these two candles, got stopped out at open, only for it to see it run higher. I feel like some of these gaps potentially out there have the propensity to retest and actually roll over, and NVIDIA could be one of them. Mostly because, again, I very, very rarely look at this, but we did look at MACD for NVIDIA, and it did have some bearish divergence, right? Higher lows, lower highs. So a little bit of bearish divergence there. So that was something that just doesn't mean the stock's going to tank, just means the momentum is going to slow down, and we can see the product of that momentum slowing down pretty much right about now. So if you're looking at playing NVIDIA, look for it to dip probably tomorrow, definitely tomorrow, maybe the next day. And if it closes below 212.94, I wouldn't be that amazed by it. Now, Steve Peters has a 180 put sale for September, which is forever away. You could consider some put sales or bull put spreads. It just looks like we're going to hang out here for a bit and just slowly, chop around and trade sideways. That's my thoughts. Costco, COST, nothing. Not doing anything. It is retesting a previous all-time high. So here's the previous all-time high on Costco. We've broken out, retested it once, retested it twice. Will it bounce from here? Costco, a little pricey at $185 a share. I don't have any position on Costco. But, as far as the trend goes, we zoom out of here. Look at that trend. Trend is looking real pretty. So on a stock like this, on a company like this, one that you know how they make money, you probably use them pretty frequently. They pay dividends, good-looking trend. It's one of those situations where it should be just a matter of time before it eventually goes higher. So it just depends on your time frame and what you're playing with it and how you want to do it. But your daily chart, I just don't see anything radically delicious for a day, short-term swing trade. Unless, of course, tomorrow we were to gap down below 179.67, which I don't see that occurring. But if it did, that would be a very nice bearish gap. All right, cool. Walmart, very similar to Costco, in my opinion, just in regards to what it's doing, which is not much, right? So this thing's been gapping all over the place, really since back here in March, just the whole month of March. Walmart was like, am I up? Am I down? Bullish gap, bearish gap? Am I going higher? Am I going lower? Who knows? Let's find out. So we're still trading very sideways, and we're still below the 200. Obviously, if you have a longer-term position on Walmart, I don't think there's any real reason for concern. Eventually, it'll go higher. Pretty decent bearish gap and go, though, here on a weekly chart on Walmart. I don't have any position on this one. Short-term, I don't really see very much. Again, if you're in bullish with a shorter-term call or something, I don't really see any reason to stay in. So now that doesn't mean just because I can't see it doesn't mean it just doesn't exist and you shouldn't play it. But overall, I just wait it out. I don't see much. Nothing here. Can't sit here. Here's Seagate Technology, ticker symbol STX, and your boys Niels Christensen has a $65 covered call on Seagate for April, which expires in 2.5 weeks. That's still 7 points higher than it is now. Well, 6 points higher than it is now, so another 10% higher. So he probably really won't get upset about getting exercised up there. Being that he did some puts, sold some puts, and actually put some shares back around this area, 33, 34. So he's making about 100% return on those shares. Good to me. Sounds good, looks good. So Seagate, I do like that candle. Didn't quite get off the 50 EMA. Similar to most stocks out there, you had a good gap into support. It rallied immediately. We probably get, tomorrow we're either going to get a gap up or a gap down. If we gap down tomorrow, we more than likely have an inside day, unless we break some very key levels of support. And again, if we gap up, then we probably trade down and then again get some dip buying opportunities. But Seagate just slowly trending higher. Cool. Here's Las Vegas Sands, LVS, and LVS also real sideways. Don't have anything on LVS, my friends. This one did trade to a really strong target. That resistance, 77.79 is a big key resistance, but Las Vegas Sands has been higher for sure. I'd love it to pull back to 60. I think that's doable. It won't happen anytime soon, but it certainly could. Earnings are not in the too far distant future, so I guess we'll just kind of come back on Las Vegas Sands and see what happens. If you're in a bull put spread or something, that's fine, but you'll notice I have a resistance line at 77.79. I have a support line at $60.56. It is right smack dab in the middle of that. Right there. So sideways as can be. Moving on. Next on the list, McDonald's, ticker symbol MCD, and McDonald's slowly creeping up. So you got that really nice gap down that scared everybody. Beautiful high wave candle. And we actually did set up a bearish entry, but also mentioned, hey guys, if it closes above, however it moves from this high wave candle, just take that direction. So, it did pop out of there very nicely. It moved well, at least I feel like it moved pretty well. Breaked out of here, trade to the 200 simple moving average, had a very pretty pullback. That was the dip buying opportunity. And also in the same juncture, you had this little double bottom looking thing that came in. And that was also pretty pretty. So if you're in McDonald's in some form or fashion, I don't have any position in them personally, but you do have the 200 still there. It just seems like a longer term play to me rather than a shorter term play. So here's the weekly chart. Here's the exponential moving averages. And we're just slowly starting to squeeze together from those and just letting this thing, chop around and do its due diligence. Yeah, that's why I got a McDonald's. Overall, I think she goes higher. I don't really see any reason why it wouldn't. Okay, cool. LPI. What's LPI doing? Laredo Petroleum. Sounds like a Harry Potter spell. You got 3 days in a row of a inside day candles pennant pattern. There you go. So it can either break down or break higher. Probably happens tomorrow, but at the latest Friday, more than likely. Here's the weekly chart. And what's interesting is it did make a little bit of a lower low. Let me just turn off all these moving averages for a second. Yeah, that is real sideways. Real sideways. Buy the dip. It's a longer term accumulation play. It's not super expensive. So you could get 100% return on your position if it trade up to 16, from $8, which is, nothing to snark at. I don't know anything about Laredo Petroleum. I don't have any position in this one personally, but if it was at $8 into this level, as long as it can hold $8, and specifically with this being the weekly chart that we have now, I feel like some people are playing this as a flag, expecting it to roll over and continue lower. So if it does not, and we get a close or a breakout or a good break above the high of the current week candle, I think Laredo Petroleum could continue a little bit higher. All right, next on the list, we have PAGS, which I think is Progress Software. Nope. That's PRGS. No clue what this is. Newer IPO, though. Broke out. Nice little trend. It's doing its thing. George says, McDonald's already gave me 2.74 hours last month, and I'm in again. Mr. McDonald trying to make up for the 7 weeks that it got me sick when I first came to Peru. Sorry to laugh about that, man. But yeah, get it back. Make it pay you for that, for your pain and anguish. PAGS. Newer stock on the street. Pretty decent volume. It's a good looking trend. I would like it to pull back to the 20. Today had a little bit of a bearish gap. So, yeah, I wouldn't be terrified, horrified, or mortified, or petrified if it pulled back down to that 20 EMA and then look to buy the dip. All right, here's Morgan Stanley. So Morgan Stanley, part of Morgan. Here's the long-term moving averages on Morgan Stanley. Like most of the market, it has been, I mean, look at this chop fest. Look at this thing. I mean, all over the place. 51, 54, 51, 54, 51, 54. So in an hourly chart, this is a, I mean, again, you got to be fast in this market. That's why I mentioned you got to be real quick. Days or hours. But you got yourself a good support. You got yourself some lower highs. And I personally am still a bull fan, my friends. I think you all know that. It makes sense that the market goes higher. I want the market to go higher. We'll make a lot of money if the market goes higher. I'm fine with a bearish move. We'll protect ourselves in a bearish move. But from this particular standpoint on Morgan Stanley, nice little hourly chart. Looks like a double bottom. So I'd probably have to say let it make a higher high, pull back down to 53, buy a little bit there, buy a little bit at 52 if it gets down there, set my stop a little bit lower than this obvious support right there. All right, so I wouldn't set my stop right here because that's just the market's been whipsawing people like crazy. And go get it. Angela Size, Super Size it. Love that movie. Oh, yeah. It's a classic. Kind of shocking that didn't hurt McDonald's stock at all, but they're more or less a real estate company. You own that much land, got to go higher eventually. Here's REM. Speaking of real estate, REO Speedwagon, REM. Seymour said he got 6 R's today. Walmart, McDonald's, and Lowe's. Nice job, buddy. So let's see. REM. I don't really have much for other than it looks like it's making higher lows, relative highs. You had a bearish gap down. You had a really bearish candle right here. It continued lower. So some people probably hopped on bearish, and then they're getting trapped. And once it did this, trade sideways, I think it's going to continue a little bit higher. Jason says, dude, you're getting your bands mixed up. REM and REO Speedwagon are very different. Are you sure? Sure it's not the same band? REM. They're both good bands. Bob says, indeed, they are different. Oh, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, REM, I like it if it can continue a little bit higher, honestly. I think some bears are trapped. My first target would be 43.64. Okay, next on the list is TCEHY. So this one, a lot of traders had some buying orders on Tencent Holdings at 50 or very close to it, and none of us got triggered at open. Which I don't know about you, Bob, but I've already cried 3 or 4 hours worth of tears without getting triggered in at 50. I guess we'll have to live with that. My thought at this particular point, without getting triggered in there, is I think I'm going to lower this entry a little bit to about 47. And I'm just going to cancel my order at 50. The reason I say I'm going to cancel my order at 50 is because here's the support. So if it takes out that low, it ain't going to stop at 50. You know, it won't stop at 50 if it takes out that low. It's going to go lower. So I'm gonna adjust a place to pick up a share or 100 at 46.98. Let's call it 47. Pretty much at the 50 EMA on the weekly, and pretty much it. Scott got some at 50.40. Nice, buddy. Here's the long-term moving averages. So we were below it. This is a longer-term position for me, longer-term stock. I like what it's doing. I love the trend, and this is a distribution phase. Obviously, it could get pretty bad, you know, if things do get rough, right? If this really is the top of the market and we just start breaking down and getting crushed, and we could trade all the way back down to 25, no problem. But as I was mentioning in my write-up, this is no slouch of a company, ladies and gentlemen. $500 billion market cap. That's billion with an L. So, I mean, I would have loved to have gotten this thing back at 10. This thing definitely went parabolic. So I'm going to continue to lower my entry if I just continue not getting filled. There's no option, so you can't really sell puts. So I'm going to be patient. I'll buy some as cheap as I can. That's really my goal, and I don't mind holding this one for a few years is really kind of my play. Make that money work for you, right? CHES. I think I typed something in wrong. What ticker could that be? CHES. I don't know. Maybe just Hess. Bob says Fortnite is getting huge right now too. Yes, it is. All right, so here's Hess, H-E-S. I'll just look at this one. Hess. It is Energy Win today. Looks nice. Nice little higher high on the daily chart. Weekly chart, you're above the 100. Again, as far as energy plays go, there's a lot out there to choose from, but I like this one. This one looks good. I'm going to jot down some notes because I got some people who would probably like to be in Hess. I'll see if I can keep an eye on that one. But yeah, it looks like that trend will just slowly creep a little bit higher. That's all I got. Looks good though. Bull put spread, something like that nature. All right, Activision Blizzard, ATVI. Activision getting down to the same support that it bounced off of before, 63.37. So pretty volatile market. We're down to 200. We bounced off the 200 last time. Will we bounce off of it again? Again, truly, I have no idea. But what I could say is if you're playing Activision, you got some pretty good risk-reward ratios here because we should all know that it really shouldn't break this price. Now, the market makers know that as well, you know. So, I mean, if it goes down there, it could go down there and pop and just run like that. You would just have to get in again, you know. So that's really where the stop needs to go. If you're doing a short-term trade, doing something longer-term, I mean, just let me know. But here's the weekly and the 50 EMA, 63.04, good support, buy low, sell high. I'd probably, look to have my stop a little bit lower than that. But here's the last time we got close to the 50. I don't have any position in Activision Blizzard myself, but if you're looking at playing it, this is the support zone. So, again, it could take an entire month and a half, 2 months for it to trade back higher if we form some kind of channel where it trades back up to 78. But patience is king, right? The market is a great dictator between who is patient and wealthy and impatient and broke. AMD, Micro Devices. The low of today, 904. Here's the long-term moving average, and we blew right through that. I think this is actually a really good spot to buy AMD. I think everyone was trapped this morning, and I really like this lower high that we got in here. So it looks to me like we're going to form some type of lower descending channel or something. The good news is on AMD, you have pretty much your line in the sand of which it should not break anytime soon. A lot of stocks, you're going to have that after today. You're going to have your line in the sand that you could just throw your hands up in the air and go, all right, fine, I have no idea what the market's going to do. Let me just give it a week or two and I'll find out later. I mean, I've certainly had to do that a few times, but this is one that we closed below 901. Oh, boy. And what's interesting is we did have a put sale down here not too long ago, and we bought that one back, and it was a really good one. If you did that put sale, and you don't have a lot of put sales already, you could consider something lower, like an $8 put sale, maybe for April. There still might be some premium down there, but yeah, AMD's been just getting shredded since about 1265 into a support. I think this is probably a relatively decent place to consider going long, actually, on some type of pullback. Okay, AMD, Spotify, so SPOT, it's going to go lower. It's not worth $144 a share. No way, no how. Not happening. I'm not even going to trade it as a day trade, probably out of just moral obligations until it gets below 100. There's no need for this to have like a $25 billion market cap, and that's insanity. Insane. Unless they get more users and they get, I mean, if you have 100 million people paying $10 a month, that's not a bad revenue generating. But even if you had 100 million subscribers paying $10 a month, that's $1 billion it's $1 billion a month. That's $12 billion. It's the stock price. It's still triple that right now. So I just don't see it. I don't see it. Not yet, anyway. So anyway, Spotify, Bob says, it's a cool app. It's not worth $1 billion. Not $1 billion, Bob. 40 billion. 30 to 40 billion. No, it's not worth. Same thing with Snapchat. It has 30 million paid subscribers. Okay, so 30 million paid subscribers, which is a good number, but it would need to get 3x that before even getting close to what its market cap is listed at right now.
Oh, I'm just reading. It says 30 million out of the 100 million are paid subscribers.
30 million, so 100 million users, 30 million are paid subscribers. Okay.
According to this website.
Gotcha. Bob says not worth $1 billion either. That's rich. So, I mean, they have a lot of users, and that's fine, but I just don't see, I mean, Pandora, I'd have to look at some of the numbers, how many users Pandora has as well. Anyway, I was shocked and blown away at 144 share.
Actually, might be higher. That was just another website. This one says there's 71 million subscribers.
Wow. We'll have to look at it. We'll see. Brian says eventually could get there. It's probably the best music streaming app out there, and it's big with the youngins. I hear you, man. We'll see. But 144 share, I think I'm going to have to wait. Here's Micron Technology. Ticker symbol MU. MU, beautiful candle today. This is Mr. Squiggles. This is this part that we're at right here. So this was the rotation higher. This is the rotation lower. This is the rotation higher. So we could have another lower low. I slightly doubt it, but it's certainly possible. On MU, I'm just saying if we do roll down a little bit into the 100, some bulls would definitely be trapped, and I think that would be a really good spot to hop in. But on Micron, Richard says he's long on MU and CHK. All right, Richard, thanks for the update, my friend. I appreciate it. I think MU will pay you a lot better than CHK will. So we'll see what this one does. This is a nice retest. This is off the 50 EMA. I do like it a lot. Here's the weekly, and it's at the 10. Retesting this old resistance, new support. So I like this retest. I like my put sale. I could buy it back today or tomorrow, but it's only 2 weeks away. I'm just going to let it do its thing. And I probably will sell another put sale This time maybe for June at 45 in 2 or 3 weeks. But being long, Micron does make a lot of sense today. AMAT is real sideways. Here's your long-term moving average stuck right in between the 100 and the 200 simple moving average. Huge bullish candle. And let's see if this thing can pull back a little, like into 54 and then bounce. I think that, again, that's pretty much similar to the market. I think the market has a little bit of a pullback. It would make sense that it could pull back into that 54 level. And your stop would probably be below the low of this candle. And then, you know, move up your stop below the low of today's candle. But really, most stocks shouldn't close below the low of today's candle. And again, if they do, I just literally have no idea what the market or what that stock is doing. Just throw your hands up in the air, wait a few months, and then come back to it. PayPal, very similar to Alibaba, trading down into its range after just an immaculate, huge 2017 amazing run. So this is certainly some type of distribution phase. We didn't get down to the 200, but for anyone looking at a bull put spread or put sale, I know my buddy Brian Shepard has done a lot of put sales on PayPal, and Matt DeLong and Niels and a few others, probably a 65 region would make some sense. I wouldn't go too far out. It may at the latest, since earnings is around the corner. But we'll see what it does. I mean, really, with PayPal, it just makes sense that it's going to chop around. I mean, look at that trend. Huge trend, beautiful bullish move. A lot of you just absolutely wrecked PayPal in that range. And, you know, at this level, it's just a distribution phase. So buy as low as you can. 50 EMAs at 68. I'd prefer it to go down there because I think BABA and PayPal are tracking pretty similarly. And if you're going to snag BABA at the 50, I think you could snag PayPal at the 50. And I can look at two more. We got 2 minutes, a minute per stock. Facebook is up 3% post-market, which is pretty good. So Facebook, if you go to this 15-minute chart right here, 15-minute chart had a very nice, pretty obvious buying spot. You could see this support with an hourly or 15 or 30-minute, but same support we've bounced off of multiple times. That was the buy low location on Facebook. Hopefully some of you bought down there. That was our plan. A few different situations was to let it trade higher, rotate down, and bounce. It did it once, trade higher, rotate down, and bounce. This is the second time that it did that trade down or trade higher and rotate lower and then bounce. So again, I like Facebook at these levels. I think the news, the whole situation is garbage. I think it's dumb. If it gaps up, it probably will pull back. As long as Facebook does not close below 149, it should hang out pretty well. But as long as it doesn't do that, it should be good. Steven says, I bought 160 calls expiring Friday at the hourly support this morning for 37 cents. My hero. Well done, buddy. Very well done. Kind of far out the money for the 160s, so I hope if they're expiring this Friday, make $1 or something on those. It is gapping up some, so tomorrow morning, I hope for your sake that you just get paid insane amount of profit. Good trade, buddy. Really proud of you, man. High five. Beautiful support. Facebook probably does gap up tomorrow, and then people sell it. So I'll be watching Facebook tomorrow to short. I can almost guarantee you Latoya will be looking for the same thing. In fact, it's already kind of pulling down a little bit right now, pre-market, so we'll just kind of see. Jason says retest gap. Exactly. And Solar Edge, SEDG, Solar Edge technology is looking a little different than the market. You're absolutely correct. This and AAXN. Nice looking trend. Pull back to the 20. Let's put it on the list for tomorrow. I'll just leave it on the list. And what do you guys want to look at tomorrow? Tomorrow being Transportation Thursday. Let's go ahead and throw your stocks in on here. And what do I got? Carvana, CVNA, Advanced Auto Parts, SGH, DE, Caterpillar, Tesla, Southwest Airlines, iRobot, JetBlue, McDonald's. Anything else? Honeywell, DW, DP, Momo, Disney, AMD again, and Box, BOX. All right. Mila says, thank you. Mila, you're welcome. Javier, love you, buddy. Santosh, you are amazing. Alex, Bob, Fabian, everyone else from around the world, thanks so much for being Real Life Traders. Thank you for helping us enrich lives. You are incredible. Go be incredible people. And until next time, love life, and trade it. You guys rock. Bye-bye.